Hello and Assalamu alaikum viewers. This is your host Farhan Iqbal and you're watching NewsPoint. So I wanted to make this video for the upcoming Express Entry Draw that what I think is going to happen in that Express Entry Draw. So before we look at the data, if you still haven't subscribed our channel, consider subscribing our channel so that you never miss any of the updates about Express Entry Draws and any of the forecasts for the upcoming Express Entry Draws. Okay, so let's look at the data. I have data over here from all the previous draw to this latest draw which happened on November 5th. The data is taken from November 4th, so there's only 1 day gap between the data and the draw. So data is quite recent. In the past, usually is 2 days before the draw, but this time it is only 1 day before the draw. So the cutoff in this previous draw, which happened on November 5th, was 478, which is 7 points higher than what we were seeing in the last two draws. So in this draw, the number of people who have PNP, which have a score of more than 600 and 1200, is 998. This is a very high number. I understand the draw is happening after 3 weeks, but even if you divide this number by 2/3 to compare with these numbers, it is still, I think, 650 or 600, which is relatively very high, because earlier we were seeing less than 500, and very rarely we were seeing more than 500 people in this category. So this means that a lot of people now who are getting ITS are in PNP, which is one of the reasons that CRS score is getting so higher. Second category, which is 500 to 600, I believe most of the people in this category are the ones who have a job offer and they get 50 points from there. Or maybe since now the French scores have increased, maybe people in this category or in this next category are people who know French and now they have got a significant boost in their score. So in this category now we have 828 people, which is almost more than double, or actually close to more than double than what we were seeing previously, a gap of 446. So over here also I believe that these are the people who either have a job offer or their points increased because of French. 491 to 500, over here also we are seeing almost double than what we were seeing earlier. 535, even if you divide it by multiply it by 2/3, the number is relatively higher than what we were seeing in the past. So I believe in these two category people have French points, that is why they have got a significant boost. In this category, obviously these are people who have PNP, more people are getting PNP now. And then people are getting a little higher score because of French, I believe, especially in these two categories. In this category, maybe there are some people who are getting job offers, but in this category, looks like mostly people who have French. Then 481 to 490. This looks like a very high scoring range, but I have mentioned in the past that if you are under 29 years of age, if you have CLB 9, if you have a master's and 3 years experience, and a sibling in Canada, your score comes out to 484. So you could be in this category without knowing French and without having a job offer. Similarly, if you do not even have a sibling in Canada, but you score CLB 10 in all the IELTS categories, and you have other conditions like under 29 years of age, you have masters and you have 3 years of experience, even then with CLB 10 your score comes out to 481. To be in this category, you do not need French, you do not need a job offer. You can just do it with a master's degree and a good IELTS score. And if you have a sibling in Canada, then even CLB 9 can get you in this category. So in this category, there are 1296 people, which is 594 more than what we saw when the draw happened on October 14th. 471 to 480, where most of the people lie these days who are getting ITS, this number is 3291. And if we multiply it by 2/3, then we get relatively the same number what we were seeing in the previous two draws. Actually, I believe it's a little lower. So if you divide it by 3, then it comes to, I think, 1100 multiplied by 2. So it would be about 2200. So this number would have been 2200 in my opinion if the draw was happening after 2 weeks only. So anyways, but still it is 882 higher than what we saw on October 14th. So holistically, if we look from 471 to 1200, now there are almost 7,000 people, 6,948, about 27 higher than what we were seeing previously. However, as we know that this draw is happening after 3 weeks, this was expected that more people would be there in these ranges. However, in these three ranges, it is more than expectation, even if the draw was happening after 2 weeks only. In this category, I would say actually the number of people have reduced. If the draw was happening after 2 weeks only, we would have seen, I believe, closer to 2200 people only in this category. So there is still some hope that less people are applying in this category who have a score of 471 to 480. But unfortunately over here we have seen a significant increase. There is one possibility that this was just a one-time increase because a lot of people who were in the pool, they got a boost because of their French scores. But this is something which we might have to see more often in future, that more and more people are getting PNP. So let's take a look at the numbers that if the draw happens, as I mentioned, that there's a possibility that the draw might happen on November 11th or November 18th. So first of all, 4500 ITAs were issued on November 5th. So on November 5th, when you take 4500 out of this number, we have roughly 2500 people remaining in the pool. It could be a little higher because the draw happened after one day, so maybe another 200 or so people have applied. So this could be 2600, something like that. The number of people remaining in the pool who have a score of 471 and higher. So if you have to find out how many new profiles are created between when this draw happened and when the data is published one day before the draw, that number comes out to 7200. So what I am doing is that from this number, I am subtracting this number minus 4500, which is the number of ITAs which were issued in this draw. So this number comes to about 7200. So in 22 days, about 7200 people have applied who had a score of 471 and higher. That comes out to roughly 300 to 350 people every single day who have a score of 471 and higher. So if we take this pattern, then if the draw is happening on November 11th, between November 5th and November 11th, roughly 1500 to 2000 people would enter in the pool with a profile of 471 and higher. And if the draw is to happen on November 18th, then about 4500 to 5000 people would apply or enter in the pool who have a score of 471 and higher. This is simply taking 300 to 350 people per day who have a score of 471 and higher. Could be a little off, but this is more or less the past trend. So if the draw happens on November 11th, so we will have this number plus this number in the pool, which is maybe 4000 to 4500. And if the draw happens on November 18th, then about 6500 to 7000 people would be there in the pool. So now about the cutoff. If the draw happens on November 11th, then I believe the cutoff would be close to 471, depending upon how many ITAs are issued. If 4500 ITAs are issued, it would be 471. If the number of ITAs are reduced back to 4200 or lower, then we could actually see an increase. It could be 472 or even higher. But if the draw happens on November 18th, then since there would be about 7000 people in the pool, then a little less than 7000 I would say, because the data is from November 4. So I would say the cutoff would be 476 or 477. I believe that it would be less than 478, although yes, there would be close to 7000 people in the pool. I would say that maybe that French boost which had gotten in these two ranges, this would be reduced. So the cutoff I believe would be 476. It could be 477, but I would be really surprised if it is 478 again. So cutoff I believe would be 471 if the draw happens on November 11th, and it would be 476, 477 if the draw happens on November 18th. We hope that you liked today's video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Do let us know in the comment section what is your CRS and what is your prediction for the next draw. Until next time, this is your host Farhan Iqbal signing off. Assalamu alaikum.